So here we're taking a look at the interface for the Mantis 3D printer. The first thing that we're going to want to do is get onto the Wi-Fi itself. So if you click on the Wi-Fi icon, it'll take you to the Wi-Fi credentials screen where you'll see the SSID, which is also the network name, which is whatever name you chose for the router that you have at home. In our case, that's it. And that is our password. All right, so it's going to go ahead and create the Wi-Fi connection for us. It's going to take, looks like 30 seconds and counting to knock that out. And we're back with 3 seconds left to go. Beautiful. And yes, indeed, we are now online. When you see this box pop up that says Print Me, you've actually connected to an online database of 3D printable files called Thingiverse.com. You could go there directly, but we've tried to make this process even easier for you by enabling you to search things right through our interface and then be able to print them without actually having to go anyplace else. Right now I'm accessing the Mantis interface from my Mac, but you don't just have to use a Mac, you could also use a Windows-based laptop. You could also use a tablet or a phone. Frequently I use my phone to check on prints and even to start and cancel prints when I want to. Any internet-capable device that has a browser on it that can access a 192.168.4.1 address can access the interface for your Mantis printer. So let's go ahead and search for something in Thingiverse. We can click on our search here for print ideas box, and what should we search for? Let's try and there we see our first result pops up. Those look like some decent vacuum cleaner nozzles, so we can go ahead and click on Print Me. This will go ahead and load all of the different files that are there. Looks like there's one file for each one of those nozzles. And say that we wanted to start with nozzle 1, we can click on that. And it will automatically populate to the load window. And then all you would have to do is click print, and your print would begin on the Mantis. If you wanted to see, the way that we've designed this section of our interface is that it'll automatically pull the top 5 results based on the number of people who have made the items. We found that this is the best way to ensure that you come up with prints that many people have had success printing, which decreases the chance that there's errors built into the files. So you can click on the right or left arrow to scroll through other options that are also in whatever you search for in the box. And then this should bring us back to the vacuum cleaner nozzles that we started with. So we went ahead and picked our nozzle, but let's say, for example, that we didn't want to select something from Thingiverse, but we had actually already gone and gotten our file, our 3D printing file, which are generally called STL files, and that's located on our computer right now, and that's what we wanted to print. In that case, we can refresh our browser window and click on the Select File button, which will automatically bring up a section of STLs that are located on your device. Now in this case, because I've been to this folder before, it automatically popped up, but in your case, if this is the first time you're clicking on it, you may need to navigate to wherever you've stored the STLs on your computer. In this case, I don't think you can go wrong with Fred the Frog, so why don't we print him? So there's Fred the Frog automatically loaded up for a print, and then all we would have to do is click Print and select Print from the subsequent menu there, and we will be all set. Let's take a look at our Advanced Features menu. I'm going to do these slightly out of order so I can explain to you what each one does. We're going to start with our template INI. Now an INI file is a settings file that is generated for your Mantis here at the factory. We hand calibrate every Mantis before it goes out so that we know that every Mantis is printing fantastic before it gets to you so that you don't have to do anything. So the vast majority of our users will never have to touch the template INI or the upload INI buttons for any reason whatsoever. But the reason that we make these available is that for advanced users, if you would like to print at different settings or if there are things that you would like to change, we wanted to be able to give you the option to do that. So the template INI file, when you go to download that, will actually download a generic template that has the generic settings not for your printer specifically, but for all Mantises. So if you wanted to make any changes, you would be able to do that. Then you would just go ahead and click continue, and it would automatically get you the template INI. Say that you did download a template INI and you made some changes to it and you wanted to have those settings saved to your Mantis, then you would go ahead and click on the Upload INI button, and you'll see a warning pop up that does mention that uploading values that are incorrect via this INI button can potentially permanently damage your printer. This is why, once again, we only recommend that advanced users who know exactly what they're doing make any changes to the INI because, again, it has been perfectly calibrated for you before it got to you, so there is no reason to change any of this unless you want to. We'll skip Octoprint for a second. Toggle lights, very simple, turns the lights on and off on your Mantis. The nozzle gap setting, if you click here, before we do that, if you clicked up or down, it would adjust the nozzle gap for your printer. Now the nozzle gap for your printer is again a setting that we calibrated before the Mantis left our factory. The vast majority of users will never touch this setting. But if you decided to change your nozzle gap for any reason, and then you clicked on it, once again a warning pops up to let you know that a nozzle gap, which is also called a Z offset, is actually the gap between your nozzle and the printer bed. Adjusting this value to a value outside of the accepted range that your printer was designed to work with can, at the best, negatively impact your print performance, and at the worst, actually permanently damage your Mantis. So, although there are reasons for a very, very specific set of users that they may want to adjust these settings, for the vast majority of users, they will not. And we also have an update button. We wanted to give the functionality to get the latest and greatest in whatever software changes that we make. And periodically, we're constantly iterating. We are constantly upgrading our software, and periodically we will publish those upgrades. So all you have to do is click on the update button, select update and restart, and your Mantis will be automatically updated. This process takes approximately 5 minutes to complete, and we do ask that you don't turn your Mantis off during the process. Last but not least, we have the Octoprint button. Octoprint is a software that is an open source 3D printing software that we've included with the Mantis. We are in love with Octoprint. It does fantastic things. It also could potentially harm your printer if you don't know what you're doing, which is why we have put it behind a button, and when you click on it, you get yet another warning. Once again, permanent damage to your Mantis if you're not certain about what you're doing. You don't need to use Octoprint in order to print from your Mantis. But there are certain files that have a sufficient complexity that the Mantis can't slice them natively. And in those cases, you would need to slice them using a secondary software like Cura or Meshmixer, take the resulting G-code, and print it through Octoprint directly. So that pretty much sums up the tour of our interface. There are plenty of other videos on our website for you to go through with all sorts of topics and things to go over, including a much more thorough and in-depth look at Octoprint so that you can get the full functionality out of that software on your Mantis. We welcome you to the Mantis family. We know that you're going to have a blast with your printer. Thanks so much. Have a great day.